And we are live. Hello. Are we good? Can you guys hear us? Did you guys catch that video? Hello, wonderful scribblers. And welcome to the first ever live stream of the brand new Heroes of Iyastera campaign. Our live play D&D campaign. We've been pushing this and promoting it on all the social medias for what, a couple of weeks now, guys? Is that how it's been? Oh my gosh. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. That is full of some absolutely beautiful artwork. And Antonius, did you recognize that music? Shout out to Antonius, who is the composer of that absolutely incredible Heroes of Iyastera theme song. Thank you so much. Character art is thanks to artist Kaitlin, who just really did a fantastic job bringing the characters to life. See, I'm nervous. Oh boy. The logo at the end was created by our very own Marlowe Mogoria. She also did this beautiful overlay. So, and the video was actually created and edited by HatchlingDM. Yes, so welcome everyone. Shall we go ahead and do a quick introduction, just the players at the table? The virtual table? Oh! Hello, my name is Scriv. Full name, Scriv the Bard. Welcome to the channel, Scriv T Bard. I am going to be your storyteller and or dungeon master for this campaign. That's me. Let's go ahead and go clockwise, starting with Jenn.
I am Jennifer. I am a freelance illustrator and artist. You can find me on socials at Peig, and I will be playing Marlowe Mogoria, our tiefling rogue.
Is it me next?
Let's go for it.
Clockwork. I mean, Eorad, go. Now we're going counterclockwise.
Okay, I guess I go. Hi, I'm Draconics, or Drac for short, because it's easy to say and easy to spell. And you can find me at Draconics, that's DRAKONIQUES, because the normal spelling of it was taken. Today I'm going to be playing Eorad. In fact, hold on. Today I'm going to be playing Eorad.
Yes.
Forged monk. And yeah, I'm very excited for this. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice. I'm Rich, HatchlingDM. You can find me on Twitter at HatchlingDM, and on a Facebook page for Inspirals, the game that I'm developing at the moment. Teaches sign language, and I'll be playing Bomb, who's a timbersmith furbolg. And I'm incredibly excited about this as well. Scriv and I have collaborated a couple of times on stream now, and this is the first time I've been a player for probably a decade. So
And what day is it?
it's a lovely change, and it's my birthday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
happy birthday.
It's your birthday.
Happy
Yes.
birthday,
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll sing later.
It's nice for another hour, for another 3/4 of an hour. Yeah, perfect.
Hi everyone, I'm Sash, long-time RPG player, first-time live streamer. Excited to be here. You can catch me on Twitter at SpiritJam, and in this campaign I'll be playing Candice Brackenhill, the Alcocker Hedge Witch. Try saying that 5 times fast.
I was going to, but then decided no.
Yeah, not
I'm not going to
now.
embarrass myself.
Don't do it. It's a trap.
It's a trap. Excellent. So yes, these are your heroes, everyone. Greet them. Prepare for adventure. So, whoa, what? B Zelda's now following. Thank you so much, B Zelda.
Oh my god, B. Thank you. Hi, B.
Yay, that is fantastic. Oh, you know what we do when we have new followers and or subscribers? We say cheers. Cheers to you,
Cheers.
our friend.
Cheers.
And welcome to Iyastera.
Gin.
I've got some lovely Lady Grey tea this
Nice.
evening.
Ooh,
Yep,
fancy.
gotta have tea for the creative story time, right, folks? Okay, so yes, a little bit about this this campaign. As you saw maybe in the chat, we have a couple of new chat commands in there. You've got heroes and you have campaign to give you a little bit of more information about what we're doing on this stream. We consider this D&D light. We are playing 5th edition D&D, but with some interesting modifications and homebrew rules. So you'll most likely spot some of those, but I want to go ahead and put that out there. I know we are not following things by the book. You don't have to. Spoiler alert. You can modify this game however you wish to fit the playstyle of you and your players. So that is one of the things you can expect. Honestly, I'm going to keep rambling on because I am both nervous and excited to get started. So what we're going to do, we had a series of session zeros prior to tonight. So I have a little bit of a story for you, just to get you up to speed. And then we're going to go into playing some of the monologues. Perhaps some of you saw this on Twitter and Instagram if you follow me or any of us on the various social media platforms, but you'll get the chance to see some of the character art, hear the characters introduce themselves, and hear more of that fantastic music from and Antonius. You know what? I'm calling you Andy. That's a mouthful each time. All right, so welcome to Chapter 1. Only about a week has passed since Eorad and Marlowe's arrival in Glenfarra, but 2 weeks, roughly, since Eorad fled the Athenaeum in the cover of night, with nothing but a cloak to conceal his metallic form and a travel sack thrust into his arms by a panicked Tashi, one of the mages at the Athenaeum, and Eorad's only friend. Following their vague instructions, he made his way to the docks in Suomen, where a ship was waiting for him. When he arrived, he was greeted by the sight of the Maristella and her captain, an Aarakocra named Roscoe, a sea-weathered trader. He also met someone who quickly became his closest ally on this unfamiliar vessel, Marlowe Magoria, an enthusiastic tiefling treasure hunter. They sailed for many days, sharing stories and learning from the stars, until they reached land in northern Monair, a secluded cove just outside of the Glenfarran forest. There were 2 figures waiting for them. A tall furbolg sitting on what seemed to be a beautifully carved ship's mast, whittling patterns into another piece of timber, and a sharp-eyed Aarakocra. Bomb and Kendis were their names. They both had received word of their arrival, but in very different ways. Kendis from her cards and a cryptic message. Baum from the whispering of the trees themselves. Some strange fate brought these four together, for each one has something that they seek. As they walked through the trees of Glenferra, sunlight creating brilliant hues in the canopy above, they knew that a strange tale was unfolding before them, uncertain, but with the promise of new beginnings. And that is where we begin. That gets you up to speed with all that happened in session 0. I haven't shared that with you folks yet. Did you like that?
Wonderful.
Did I catch everything?
That was good.
Getting
awesome.
goosebumps.
Yay. Oh no, those session 0s were so much fun. So now that you've heard a little bit of the story, I'd like to share the monologues that each of your heroes here have created. So who shall we start with? Let's start with Baum. Let's get your character art up there again.
Bomb is the sound of a felled cedar hitting the dry leaves. Though that is my name, my roots have not yet splintered from the soil. I'm the only remaining timbersmith in Glenferra, and it's my duty to continue the family trade and keep the Knotless Woods from the eager hands of land tycoons and bandits. Until recently, my ancestors were resting peacefully, their voices the reassuring creaks, cracks and moans from branches moving with the east wind. Now they wander far from their skeletons, floating through every wall of my cabin, bodiless and aimless. Something is very wrong in the Knotless Woods, and I mean to put it right. But for now, I shall whittle and carve until Mother is ready to speak. Even in death, she has the wisdom of us all. Bob.
Oh boy. Oh boy, Baum. Next, we'll share Kendis. Is it strange hearing your monologues back again?
Yeah. Strange having to sustain that voice.
Now, Kendis.
Hello there. I am known as Candice Brackenhill. How did I come to reside in Glenferra, you ask? It is a long story, but I'll be brief. I practice magic, and in the pursuit of knowledge I once worked for the Athenium. However, as I progressed through their ranks, I found myself more and more displeased with their practices, realizing that the things they did for power were not in alignment with my principles. Leaving the Athenium was not a decision made lightly. I'm a fugitive now, and sometimes it's hard to forget that my life is forever in danger thanks to what I did. Yet, I stand by my decision, and I am bound to help others who choose the same path. Glenferra is hidden, fairly safe, and the perfect place to pursue my growing interest in natural magics. I enjoy my way of life, performing small cantrips for locals in need. They call me a hedge witch. I suppose it's not entirely inaccurate. I like the people of Glenferra well enough, though when you've lived as long as I have, you lose patience for the recklessness of youth. I've a sharp tongue ready for those who don't respect their elders. What else to know about me? You'll never see me without my spellcasting cards. It's good to know what's coming, but also to remember that the future is murky, uncertain, ever-changing, and entirely what we make of it.
Oh gosh, chills. So, Kendis is a completely homebrew Iyastera character class. Hopefully you folks will enjoy that as we go through. Next is Eorad.
I imagine that what I've been feeling up until now is as close to sleepwalking as I'll get. And this must be what it's like to finally wake up. I was designated the name Sentinel-513, but I think I prefer the name Eorad. I'd rather leave that old name behind anyway. That might be because of my defects, but I actually kind of like it. See, I had to leave my home in a bit of a rush, and it's been bittersweet. I miss home. I miss the people I left behind. But I'm also excited. I'm excited for the new experiences I'm bound to have. New places to see, new people to meet, new challenges to overcome. I don't want to be stuck in one place. And that might be why my new spectral friends chose to cling to me. Or they might be the reason I feel this way in the first place. I don't know. The Athenium don't even know. Though I doubt they plan on keeping it that way. All I know for sure is that I was built to move, to wander. And now, it seems like I've got a stellar wanderer watching my back.
All right, and the final monologue. Guess who it is? With fantastically matching horns, IRL. Yes, they're real. Here is Marlowe.
Hello. Marlowe. Marlowe Magoria. I'm a wanderer, a treasure hunter, a tinkerer. I grew tired of simply drifting along, letting life happen to me, come what may. Surely, there was more out there. Surely, there was more to discover. And so, I took to the seas, in search of more. Curious, isn't it? How the tide turns and the storm brews. And ever more curious, intriguing, one might say, how you can turn it in your favor. I go where the stars guide me and the ships sail, to where there are secrets lurking in the shadows and whispers of wisdom hidden away. There is much to explore and knowledge yet to be learned. You see, the world is vast, and I am the captain of my fate.
Ooh. All right. Those are the monologues. Once again, played by these wonderful people around the table. So, without further ado, shall we get started?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
It's happening. It's actually happening. Okay, let me drink some tea.
We have to do something now, do we? Oh, that's all right.
I know, right? Oh, that's the
I thought we were
stream,
chilling.
everyone.
I thought that's what we're just
Bye.
doing.
Hope you
Drinking gin
enjoyed
and having a
that.
good time.
We're good. We're just gonna sit here and chat about random nothingness for the next 2 hours. However
We're
long.
just gonna sit here and drink our drinks.
That's the stream. All of
There it
you,
is.
all 24, however many of you, just sit here and we stare at each other awkwardly, sipping,
It's just
Oh.
loudly slurping the tea. Okay, so, as I said in our opening narrative, it's been about a week since you've arrived in the verdant and sprawling forest of Glenfarra. You've taken some time to settle in. Eorad, you are now starting to feel as though you might be able to breathe more easily. Marlowe, you are hopefully adapting to life on land for the first time in who knows how long. Bum, you're not used to having to share your home with people. But we'll get to the three of you. Tonight's session is actually going to begin with Kendis. Kendis, you have awoken to a cool morning breeze reaching through your window that you've left open through the night. You have had a fairly restful evening. A nice quiet morning now greets you as you start your day. How do you, Kendis, typically spend your mornings?
Kendis wakes up, ruffles out their feathers, shakes out their wings, looks up to greet the morning sky, kind of tries to get a sense of what the weather might be like on this particular day, see if there's any sense of magic or intrigue drifting over the horizon. They will make a cup of herbal tea and nurse it quietly as they pace about, thumbing over the leaves of various spell books and spellcrafting items, just making sure everything's in order. Not that it wouldn't be, but it's part of the ritual to just ground themselves in that magic and start to reconnect with the energy around them and begin a new day.
Excellent. It's a pattern of behavior that you're very accustomed to. At this point, it's natural. It's a natural rhythm of life, almost like a dance of some sort. So as you are reflecting, breathing in the air of the forest, sending your senses sprawling out across the area as far as you can reach, things seem pretty good this morning. It is a very crisp autumn morning. There's a touch of chill to the air. Not too cold yet. The first frost has not fallen, but you can feel in many ways the forest beginning to prepare for the colder months. However, there's something just on the periphery of your senses that seems strange, seems a little odd. And as you try to focus in on it, try to steady your breathing and really determine the source of this strangeness, you're interrupted by a familiar sound. The sound of quiet giggling, smothered laughter just outside of your window. You look, and there are a few dark brown curls of hair just barely visible over the windowsill outside your cabin.
I thought we talked about this. It's too early for your shenanigans, child.
A very familiar, freckled, bright blue-eyed face, grinning from ear to ear, missing a tooth on the top row, leans over the window. This is Luz, one of the children from the Goodsong family. A small halfling child, probably about 6 years old or so. But Miss Candice, I just wanted to say hi. I didn't want to bother you. What you doing?
Well, I don't never mind. You're too young to understand the sacred peace of the early morning. Well, since you ask, child, I am wondering how to go about my day. I am going to meet up with some new acquaintances.
Are you going to the Knotless Cabin again? Are you meeting the travelers? Are they gonna stay? Are we gonna have new friends here? Are they staying? Oh, Miss Candice, tell them they can stay. They can stay with us.
So many questions, one at a time, child. Yes, I do believe they will be staying for some time, but
Yes.
that is probably a question best addressed to them. They are here to enjoy our hospitality for a while, so I don't see why they would not want to befriend such a keen and excitable child as yourselves.
You mean
Maybe
me?
maybe you can spend your morning with them and give me a little bit of a break.
I told Oscar that they would stay, but he didn't believe me. I figured I'd ask you. You know everything.
Well,
I can't go myself though. Mama's waiting in the Singing Grove. We have to play some music for the Willows today. They seem droopy. Have you noticed?
It hadn't escaped my notice. I was wondering about that. I was going to ask the timbersmith if he had any thoughts. I feel a certain energy is not as free-flowing as it usually is. It's curious, indeed. And you've noticed it too. Of course you would.
Yeah, the Willows seem sad.
That's
Maybe
one
some
way of
music will
putting
cheer
it.
him up. That's what Mama says.
It couldn't hurt. I do enjoy your music. I think you're good. You're getting better.
Well, hopefully I don't break a string on my harp this time. Okay, I should go. Bye, Miss Kendis.
Bye.
And with kind of a high-pitched squeal, the halfling child, Luz, swings themselves down to the ground because, of course, your cabin, as many of the others, is built into the trees themselves. So, as you prepare to depart for the Knotless Cabin and the Knotless Wood, you step outside, maybe chuckling a little bit, maybe rolling your eyes a little bit at the tenacious children in Glenfarra, especially those Good Song kids. Oh my goodness, they get everywhere. You gaze upon Glenfarra, not just the forest itself, but the town, the rather large town. It's a sprawling network of cabin-like structures, and actually, I have some music.
Ooh. Taking it up a level.
I know, right? There we go. Hopefully that's not too loud.
Chat, let us know.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not too loud compared to the voices of everyone. So, Glenfarra is a sprawling network of cabin-like structures. Some earthbound, others built into the trees themselves, connected by rope bridges of various kinds. Here and there are homes, farms, workshops, and gathering places, all clustered in small, cozy localities, inhabited by people from all across Iyastera. While there are a handful of native families, and you, Kendis, have come to get to know them quite well in your time here, you know that most Glenfarrans have all come from elsewhere, much as yourself, drawn to the forest in search of a new life. So you can make your way to the Knotless Cabin, which is where we are now going to have a little bit of a scene shift and catch up with Baum, Eorad, and Marlowe. So, Baum, would you like to describe this cabin for us? Your family home.
It's quite sprawling, as it's made of wood. I spent many a decade building it from the ground up. And it's usually a very, very quiet place. Except recently, where I've had these new guests, creaking and clanking, one of them, and insisting on a bath, the other one. And that's on top of the restless spirits of my family that now wander about the rooms, the corridors, the basements, the attics of my very quiet cabin. Very unrested.
Even more so with these two newcomers, right?
Indeed.
So, Marlowe and Eorad, how have you been settling in? What are some of the ways in which you've made yourselves at home?
Ooh. I think Eorad, I think for one thing that Bon probably isn't very fond of is that Eorad is a wolf, so he doesn't really need to sleep. So he's he's up all night.
Staring
constantly.
awkwardly, drinking tea.
And essentially not talking to himself, but talking to his, I guess, avatar, this astral being that's attached to him. He usually talks to them at night, which is probably the worst time since everyone else, all of you fleshy people, so weird. You need to sleep. It's just, you can't really get it. But yeah, so I think that's probably one of the reasons why Bomb is probably so exhausted, maybe.
Tired, man.
How he's making himself at home, I think he's still he feels safer now, but he still doesn't feel home, like this is his home. So I think he's a bit too anxious and like awkward. He feels too awkward to do anything other than like kind of stay in his little area that he's pretty sure he's allowed to stay in.
Right.
Yeah.
You're still not even quite used to having a room of your own. This is all very, very different from the cold and almost cavernous walls of the Athenaeum. Honestly, back in the Athenaeum, your favorite place was outside. But here you can see so much more. Whether it's just being free or the fact that, this is the first true forest you've ever seen as well.
Yeah. I think probably just yesterday he felt comfortable enough to actually like roam around outside and look around at the trees, and probably again at night. But yeah, and that's when he probably like just laid down in the forest and kind of looked up at the stars and pointed out their star, the Wanderer, and just again talking to himself and the spectral being that's attached to him.
Excellent. Marlowe?
I imagine Marlowe would probably not confine herself to where she was allowed to be. I imagine anytime Bomb would wander off, she would wander around his home and see what there was to explore, to improve upon.
Oh no. What kind of things have you found to improve upon? You know what? Let's roleplay this. What are you doing? Now, at this point, it's kind of late morning.
I imagine.
Have you found something to fix?
It doesn't have much in the way of a plumbing bathroom situation. So I imagine that Marlowe would have been finicking around in a makeshift sort of room where she's designated this is where hygiene happens.
You've decided this.
Yeah.
This is now the hygiene room.
Surely it's very welcome to all of the guests that need it, which is Marlowe.
The cabin's massive, so you could probably make a spa out of that one room.
It's a sauna
Make
now.
it its own little spa.
So
You
let's
just see steam coming out of it.
let's say you're in the middle of converting this room. Bomb. You walk up.
Marlowe, I have the wood you requested.
Perfect.
Where do you want to put it?
Anywhere at
Is
all.
some choice beach. In the corner? Which corner? There's all sorts of
Yes.
piles. There seems to be only one left. I'll put it over there. And I kind of walk over. I sort of like trump over and just pop it down. This big pile of wood.
Marlowe, meanwhile, is just head down in a pile of wood. Her answers she's giving him are just like half paying attention to what he's saying.
So you assure me this will improve the accommodation?
Mm-hmm.
How exactly?
Yes.
And you wish me to go out this afternoon and get some more, possibly a different type.
That would
With
be
a different-
perfect. Thank you so much for offering.
Do you really need a different pattern within the wood? Is this what you're assisting on?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not used to such particularities.
Bomb, you hear a voice. A small voice, almost as if just over your shoulder. You know, dear, I am proud of you. It's about time you liven this place up a bit. Your father never wanted to change anything. You be nice to these guests. I like them. None of you can hear this voice. Just Bomb.
I kind of put the last bit of wood down from my arms and step outside the room and walk outside the cabin. Like, yes, Ma. I understand. I'm doing my best. No,
I
I'm not
know
so-
you are.
That's all you ever asked for, isn't it?
Well, yes, all you can do is your best. I mean, sometimes you can try a little harder. I, for one, think a bath will do you some good, my son.
Well, she's installing too, so I imagine that's on the horizon.
Well, try to look less put out. I think the hedge witch is coming.
Hedge witch.
And at this point, you do see Candice Brackenhill approaching.
And
Hedge
this is
witch.
gonna Timbersmith. Good morning.
Is it? You get in there and put up with the noise and the racket.
Be polite.
I've already had my fill of that this morning myself, thank you very much. You haven't seen one of the small children of the forest about, have you? I believe they wanted to meet our new guests.
I'd appreciate some distractions, so I wished I'd seen them, but no, alas. I've had to put up with them myself all morning, all last night, and for the last week.
How unfortunate. Well, you know, there just isn't room at my place for guests, and I would have offered, but I didn't, so here we are.
Not your thing, is it really?
No, not really. Spellcasting takes too much concentration for guests.
Yeah, I'm sure Whitling does not.
Well. Anyway. I meant to ask, did you notice that the willow trees are a little they're not quite right, you know? They're drooping more than usual. Anything you might have some insight into?
Not just the willows. Seems like many of the breeds of tree are finding difficult times right now. Up until recently, they were fine. Up until recently, my family were under the ground, happy with their skeletons and their rest. But now they also are in troubled moments.
And all seems to coincide nicely with the arrival of our two new friends. Interesting.
You don't think
Not-
a coincidence?
Absolutely not. Well, who am I to say, but I would rather not assume as such.
What do the cards say?
To be on our guard and to... how should I put it? Use our abilities in unexpected ways. Dig deep. Think outside the box. It seems there are problems ahead.
Sounds troubling, as I say. But the willows shouldn't even weep as much as they normally do. Are they reaching the floor, the ground? Is this what the child says?
Yes, drooping quite significantly. And losing some luster in their leaves as well.
I've felt it acutely recently. I feel something is very wrong, especially in the Knotless Woods. Seems to be convening within the pools and the water sides and travelling up the roots, even to touch my family, who are supposed to be wrestling and deserve their rest for all the trouble they've had to endure over the years.
Absolutely. Speaking of, does your mother have any insights?
She thinks I should take a bath.
Well, she was always a wise woman.
I like this hedge witch. At least someone's asking my opinion.
I know you do.
What was that?
And she said she appreciates your opinion.
Oh, well. Thank you. Do pass on my thanks. And Kendis ruffles their feathers a little pompously, with a little bit of a smirk. Anyway,
Yes.
I shall... sorry.
You wish to meet the guests or see the guests and speak to the guests?
Well, I was thinking we should ask them about their plans going forward. Don't you think? As we are apparently accompanying them on their task of settling in and whatever may come next.
I wish to ask one if they're moving and ask the other if I have to pay for a bathroom conversion.
At this point, you hear what sounds like a crash and the very troubling splintering, cracking sound of wood breaking, followed by a loud string of curses in a language you don't understand. Marlowe, your hand's a little bit hurt now. Eorad, you hear this as well, and you recognize those curses quite well after spending a week, 2 weeks total, but at least a week on the sea with Marlowe and the crew of the Maristella.
I think Eorad probably like sitting cross-legged, just again talking, and he just goes, "Give me a second. I think Marlowe's in need of some help."
Oh, you were outside hearing that whole exchange this whole time.
Oh.
Is that what you were doing?
No,
Or were you just
no.
saying to yourself, Marlowe needs some help?
Yeah.
Ah,
I was
got it,
talking.
got
No,
it.
I'm talking to my astral
Yes.
projection. So I'm just talking to him, to
Yes.
them, and yeah, I guess hop up onto my feet, and I seem my footsteps were pretty heavy, but I seem kind of light on my feet, and yeah, I kind of approached Marlowe. Is
Marlowe
everything?
holds up her hand and is like, "Have you got any bandages on you? I'm running out." And you just see her like arm and like a leg and like now another other arm. She's like, "This is only the third time this week." Won't happen
I've
again.
never needed to use bandages, as you can probably tell, but I'm sure
But
Bomb has some.
you
I
don't
can go
sleep,
get him.
yes. I'm sure you don't need your bed sheets.
Sure, yeah, go. I do think you might have
Marlowe's
to ask.
already walking out the door.
I do think you have to ask Bomb. Okay. I think I can run after you. Like, hey, you might have to ask Bomb. Don't tear up the sheets. We are guests in his house.
I wasn't going to tear them up. I was just going to use all of them.
You know what? Yes, go ahead. I'm
Perfect.
plausible deniability. I'm just gonna go back. You can just watch it. You kind of just watches Marlowe, a little bit of confusion, like
Marlowe's just
I
like
guess a wrap
piling
up.
it into her arms.
So you're not even cutting them into strips then. You're
No.
literally just taking the entire sheet and just swaddling
Yep.
almost your entire arm to the point where now you have these huge like cloth wrapped clobber hands.
Yep. Sock 'em boppums.
Ron kind of strides in and he's like, "What happened? What's up?"
The bathroom's going perfectly, and she holds a thumbs up, but you can't see it because it's wrapped up in the bedsheet.
I think Marlowe hurt herself, and I think she's using the bed sheets to mop up the blood. I don't know if that's how.
Fine.
I don't think that's how they're meant to be used, but she seemed very insistent.
How is the wood feeling?
Splintery.
And he goes over to the wood that you've damaged, and he just picks it up and he strokes it and he goes, "Never mind. I've replanted. Don't worry." And he puts it back down.
Oh no.
How is your hand, by the way?
She holds it up. There's like a little bit of blood seeping through the bedsheet. I think it's fine.
I guess the wood understands. Don't worry. You haven't offended.
I'm offended.
Kendis, can you treat her hand?
Oh, Kendis is here.
Oh,
Yes, I forgot to say. The hedge witch has arrived.
Kendis sweeps through the door with a slight fluttering of their cape, and briskly takes Marlowe's hand without even really offering any pleasantries, and just sort of matter-of-factly looks it over, and mutters sort of a very small cantrip to fix it up. If I'm allowed to do that.
can you do that to this one?
Scriv, I think you're muted.
Which cantrip are you using?
Do I? Oh, hang on.
Sheet
So,
time.
right? Oh gosh. Or I could let you do a medicine check.
Yeah, do that. Because I've just accidentally closed my window. My bad, I'm very sorry.
Oh no! That's okay. Chapter 1!
Yeah!
Woohoo! First roll of the campaign!
Ooh, no pressure.
Medicine
I know, right?
medicine check.
Don't get
You
that
would
far.
No,
have
that's it.
proficiency in this, I believe.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you just want me to go with D20, right?
Yep, D20 medicine check, which is, I believe, intelligence based, or is medicine the one that's randomly wisdom?
Can you check that for me, Scriv?
Okay, yep.
I rolled an 18. And is that intelligence or wisdom?
Wisdom. So wisdom
18.
modifier plus your proficiency bonus, which at this level is +2.
Okay, so 18 was the roll, +4 for my wisdom modifier, plus my 2 proficiency bonus.
Whoo! Woo! Cheers! That was a fantastic first roll of the campaign. Let's hope may all of your rolls be as high as that frickin' medicine check.
The bar is high. That's it. Anything is
man. Your sort of confident feather fluff earlier is well earned. So you are able to very quickly determine the scope of the injury, not just scope of the injury, but how best to treat it. Thankfully, nothing's broken, not even strained, just some cuts on the skin. You're able to very deftly, with your Aarakocra claws, just kind of remove some of the splintered wood. And I would say that you probably keep more of a pouch, kind of a satchel, a kit with you even, in which you would have some better bandages than a bed sheet. So if you wish, I would say you're able to very deftly, with with just the right amount of pressure and knowing almost by heart at this point how best to wrap the arm to stabilize it and stop the blood from flowing and treat it very, very well. Just within a few seconds. Marlowe, it's way better than a sheet.
Can you show me how to do that?
Right now? I'd come back to me another time when we're not so busy, I suppose. It's I made it look easy, put it that way. Might take a little more practice for yourself.
Are you planning on cutting yourself more often or something?
I'm planning on
have an
bleeding
accident
more often.
I do believe bomb raises a good point. Prevention is the best cure in such an instance.
Well, if the wood weren't so splintery.
Yes, this is a problem. It's not normally. Something has changed with the cuttings. Something has changed with the fellings. That's what we're here to talk about, I feel, after we've decided what your plans are, both of you. You can't stay in the cabin forever. It's filled enough with spirits of my family.
Oh yeah, I did.
So what are your plans?
Eorad is a wolf, so his expressions aren't very expressive. But even then, he could tell that he had no idea. The moment you asked him, was like, "Oh, that's a good point. I probably should think about what I'm doing after this."
You've heard nothing from Tashi throughout the past 2 weeks.
I'll be honest, I don't know. I was hoping I would find out soon, but I don't know. I mean, I won't stay. I don't want to overstay my welcome, but I don't know where to go after this.
If we can appease the spirits of my family, even short term, then you're welcome to stay as long as you wish. It's just they're very unsettled, to put it mildly.
Does a bath not appease your family?
I've never been keen on them, apart from Mother.
Oh, that is not true. Your uncle took baths regularly.
Anyway. What about you, Tiefling? What are your plans?
I'm sure I could find a job or two around here.
Interior design, possibly.
I'm much more than a designer, thank you.
I could find you work very easily, both of you. And I'm sure Kendis can do the same in the local town. No problem whatsoever.
Absolutely.
I don't think I want to work. And he kind of just stands there, like, stares a bit awkwardly.
Just trails off. That's a hanging sentence. No period,
Yeah.
no punctuation, just...
And like, this guy's like a 6'1.5", like, fully metallic dude. Like, quite literally built, pretty lean, and like, quote unquote muscular. But he just standing there kind of awkwardly, like, wringing his hands together, like unsure if he just said something that was very wrong or offensive or upsetting.
You wouldn't know it. I feel if you help me in some regard, then you're board and keeper completely free. No problem whatsoever. I just feel like my trade has slowed down since I've had to take you in. And I feel like the family business is my one responsibility to keep afloat. And with the problems in the woods, which I haven't discussed with you yet, as I said, the wood is drier, the knots are older. It's very worrying. Kendis is worried too. We're very attuned to the environment around here, as you probably gathered. If you just lend me some hand investigating something, then of course you're welcome to stay, despite my family's intrusions.
That sounds... Sure. I do want to say that this is the first woodland I've ever been in, so I don't know how useful I'll be, but I can try to help.
We will discover that as we go on. You probably have skills you have no idea about. When you spend time in the woods, there's a lot of things that develop, there's a lot of things that come out, even to the point where you can hear the whisper from the trees.
I think Eorad kind of stays quiet for a second, and just like you can probably tell that he's straining to hear, just see if he can hear anything going on, and then he just shakes his head like, I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything.
The only time, Eorad, you've been able to sort of sense something like that is under the open night sky. You haven't quite been able to explain it. You have some ideas, and Tashi had helped you try to determine some of that. But yeah, casting your... trying to do it in the way that you've seen Bomb interacting with the trees. You know what? Roll a just nature check.
Oh yeah.
Roll a nature check. Let's just see if you pick something up. You've been here for a week.
I mean, that's not too bad. What's nature again? Hold on. Nature.
Intelligence. Weirdly enough.
Okay.
I've always
16.
thought it strange that medicine is wisdom and nature is intelligence.
I feel like it should be the other way around.
I think it should, and honestly, I'm okay just switching that. Whoa! D&D rogue, wild card, status, medicine is now intelligence, and nature is wisdom. I would drop my mic, but I don't want to break it.
In that case, It's a,
Yeah.
I believe it's a dirty 20.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh,
Nice.
dang. Hey, this is good. This is good. Get those high rolls in like the scene setting episode, the scene setting chapter. Just get them out of the way when stuff gets real. What?
Yeah, what do I hear, I guess?
So, you do spend quite a lot of time outside, as much as you can. Your role within the Athenium was to act as a sentinel. So, part of you, almost compulsively, is drawn to being on watch and almost trying to walk the perimeter, keeping an eye out as much as you can, being very aware of your surroundings, particularly at night. And for whatever reason, it seems a little bit easier for you in the quiet of night to actually pick up on some of the other things that you've heard within the forest. You can't necessarily feel the trees the same way that it seems like Baum and Kendis can as well. However, you start to be able to pick out different sounds. You hear the rustling of the wind through the leaves. It's become almost a calming, very strange and alien at first, but a calming kind of sound. You hear some smaller birds in the distance. Maybe the chattering of some squirrels. Their little claws scraping against the bark of the trees. But aside from that, you can't really tell if it's healthy or otherwise. But you can hear and sense some of the life out there. And this would be a very strange sensation for you. Again, going from the Athenium, which can be rather clinical, with the archives and everything, it's a very controlled environment, to here being in nature. It's teeming with life, bordering on this strange level of chaos that you're not really familiar with or fully comfortable with, but you're learning to adapt to it.
Yeah, I think that's probably why it took him so long to eventually leave the building that is Bomb's home to actually walk around. It feels kind of weird not being able to predict, hear the predictable footsteps of his sentinel brethren, but instead they're really erratic and sudden, and sometimes are out of not off key, but just some, to him, seemingly random chirps of birds and stuff like that. Probably made him a bit uncomfortable, but I guess he's probably warming to it now. But yeah, he still probably shakes his head I hear birds. I think those are called squirrels running around. I don't know if I can hear anything about the trees themselves. So I don't think that's an ability I'll be unlocking anytime soon.
How are you with talking to people?
I do it. I don't know if I do it well. Do I do it well? I'm talking to you. Am I doing it well?
Oh.
Yes, actually.
Then
far better than me.
I look to Candice. Is that a compliment or?
With Bomb, it's not always easy to tell. Candice kind of looks at Bomb and kind of raises an eyebrow and kind of looks back as, I would take it as one, perhaps. That's probably for the best, really.
So he turns back to Bomb and says, "Thank you. I try."
This is the way you can help me in the town. When I sell my crafts, you can maybe speak to my clients and help me sell them, basically. I don't sell a lot and the family business is waning. I need someone with some personality. And it smells neutral.
Was that a comment on your own level of hygiene, Bomb?
It was.
Oh my word.
I think again, at the mention of literally working, I think Eorad kind of doesn't reply immediately and just kind of just nods. But yeah, I don't know if like today's the first time Bomb has ever offered like a job, but I think every time he has, if it isn't the first time, I mean, I guess Bomb, is it the first time you offered to find a job for Eorad?
No, initially when you moved in.
Yeah.
Freeloading
Exactly.
kids.
And you diverted it then.
Get a job.
Yeah.
You
So I think
freeloader.
every time it's been brought up, it's either like he does that whole thing where I don't really want a job and just lets it awkward silence hang, or
You're such a teenager.
or he just kind of agrees, but very clearly isn't serious about it. It just wants you just nodding to get on with the conversation.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay.
I'll get to it.
I wanna go out, you know.
Bomb accepts that because he has no idea of social cues and like communication. And Tiefling, you wish for a job, do you not?
I have a name.
Marlowe? Is that pronounced right?
Question mark?
It sounds like the Elder Oaks.
Thanks.
This is a good thing.
Thanks.
They're the wisest trees in the Knotted Wood. But I just never know if I pronounce it the right way.
Yes.
Marlowe.
The way he says your name, it's almost as if hearing a tree try to say it. Because you've noticed with Bomb and the names of the family members, they all echo these sounds, the natural sounds of the forest, of the trees within the Knotless Wood. So when he says your name, it's distinguishable, but it almost sounds like he's trying to say it in tree in an interesting way.
Yeah, because Bomb cannot pronounce Kendis, so that's why he calls Hedgewitch.
Hedgewitch.
He's tried to pronounce their name on multiple occasions, but Kendis gets frustrated. Tells him to shut up.
I like that.
So, I'm sorry, let's continue with that interaction. I was about to say a bit about Glenfarra.
What sort of work would you wish for? If we were to arrange it.
You're crafty, aren't you?
Crafty? A craftsman? You mean?
Same difference.
I am a crafty craftsman, yes.
I think we are, how you say, of a similar wood?
A grain.
Yes.
A shared grain. I like that, yes. You wish to get your hands on some creativity.
Yes, precisely.
And which material? Wood doesn't suit you that much, clearly by the look of your hand.
Well.
What about some stone? I know the boulder smiths in Glenfarra.
I don't know that I've worked with stone, but I am sure it's less splintery.
Yes. More potential for long-term damage, but more rewarding as a material for some.
So you do know within
So shall I introduce you to the boulder smiths?
Yes, I would very much like that.
NPCs. So you do know within Glenfarra, and from hearing a little bit, even though you haven't ventured far from the Knotless Cabin, Eorad, you're still a little bit nervous. Marlowe, you've probably ventured out a little bit more. However much you've interacted, I'll leave that up to you. But you do know that Glenfarra, again, is a place of a lot of diversity. It's very eclectic. A lot of different people, different walks of life, different skills are drawn here. Whatever it was that they did in their lives previously, that's neither here nor there. All that matters is that they found themselves here. They've been accepted into the community, usually with someone vouching for them, and started a new life. So a lot of different crafts to be found here, and some people have found the opportunity to introduce something new to Glenfarra. The important thing within Glenfarra is that everyone is making some sort of contribution.
They're a good sort. They take some of my business, but I don't mind so much, as long as I keep the cabin going, keep the family name going. I wouldn't see it as a disservice to me. You might even improve their trade.
Might. Oh, I will.
They're much more visual artists than I.
I think you would do well there, personally. At least it couldn't hurt to give it a try. So, good luck to you.
So at this stage, if you wish, you can venture out into Glenfarra. So the Knotless Wood, correct me if I'm wrong, Bum, it's not in the heart necessarily of the forest. Right?
No.
It's more offset.
Yes, that's right, yeah. And the sort of like not
farther
lagoon,
to the
what's
east?
the word for it? Yeah, farther to the east, yeah. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Still
Yeah,
within
it's
the
east of the
Glenfarra
port, isn't it?
woods, but yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So at this stage, you have an opportunity to explore a bit. Explore Glenfarra, talk to some of those NPCs that you need to do some dealings with. Maybe find some work.
Yeah, on that note, Bomb kind of walks into the back of the cabin and he goes to this room. You can hear a key turn in one of the doors. And then he emerges after locking it back behind him with these intricate kind of carvings. They seem to be fish, different types of fish. He's got them in his big hands. And he puts them in a bag and over his shoulder. Well, I need to go into town anyway. Any of you are welcome to join me, or you can stay and continue with the bathroom, cutting yourself, or stay up all night.
I think
I would like to join you in the market, is it?
Is there a market today?
So, it's not so much a formal market. Some of the interesting things about Glenfarra, and you'll see this more as you travel, so we'll say you're reflecting on this as you're starting to make your way more into the heart of the Glenfarran forest. You remember I mentioned those different localities, all clustered together. Homes, workshops. In the very center, there is a large gathering place called the Trading Post, colloquially known as the Trading Post. This is the closest thing Glenfarra really has to a market, and it's not so much a post as sort of a large clearing where there's an opening within the tree canopy, and you see the open sky above and the sun shining down. And the way it's situated within the forest, at high noon, the sun is directly above, so this entire clearing is illuminated in light. This is where you'll have different festivals. This is where you'll come to trade your wares, to sell your wares, to learn, to find work. A lot of different things. But there's not necessarily a formal market square, nor is there an inn or a tavern. There are many gathering places here, places to share food, stories, drink, campfires, things of that nature. But since Glenfarra is a little bit more secluded, not a little bit, quite a bit more secluded compared to the rest of Monair, you don't really have a lot of travelers just passing by. You don't have people passing through. People who are here were invited. People who are here are meant to be here. So you don't have a lot of the conventional things that a typical town or a city would have.
Yes, you can. We can head to the trading post in the center, where the fountain is, and you can find lots of wares and interesting folks there. And it's where I will sell my newest creations, these trout that I've carved.
So when was the last time you went to the trading post, Bomb? How often do you go into the center like this?
Less and less recently. I would go twice a week normally. When I felt like the wood was. But if anyone noticed, the fish have kind of like splintered in bits, like their gills have kind of opened up, and they're not quite as like precise as I would normally expect. So I found that the trade slowed down because people aren't willing to get faulty kind of carvings. So there's a lot wrong, and this is kind of the reason I sense something's massively wrong with the trees.
Right. So as you're walking, and it's a bit of a walk, and you pass by a lot of these different cabins built up into the trees. Again, some more on the earth, on the forest floor. It, in a lot of ways, looks as though these homes, these structures, even though they were built within the trees, they've been there for so long, and different elements of the natural forest has started to overgrow the boundaries of these cabins, so it almost looks as though nature is enveloping it and integrating it even more. And for the most part, the forest is in its autumnal state, with brilliant flame-colored leaves. However, as you're walking, Kendis and Bomb, both of you, Kendis, if you're accompanying the party as well.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you two would be leading the way. You know where to go. Marlowe and Eorad, you're looking around, just taking it all in. Kendis and Bomb.
Marlowe, every now and then, will glance down at their compass to see what direction they're headed in.
Yes. Yes. You're heading, we'll say northwest.
I knew it.
Yes.
Winning.
Winning. Candice and Bomb, you feel a strange chill as you're beginning to walk around. Both of you roll perception checks for me. This is wisdom. And if you're proficient in it, you add your +2 proficiency modifier.
21.
Whew.
12.
Okay. Still good. Kendis, as you're walking, you feel a bit of that chill. And it gives you that same sort of feeling, with the hairs kind of or the feathers rather, standing up on your arm wings. We need to determine what kind of Aarakocra you are. Are you the kind with
have arms and they have separate wings?
No,
Yeah.
arms and separate wings,
but also
or are
wings.
okay?
Separate wings is
You
kind
see
of
'em?
what I
You see 'em
envision,
both ways.
if
Okay.
that helps. Yeah.
Yep, that works. So the finer feathers on your arms, it gives you that same feeling as when you heard Luz talk about the willows being droopier, being sad. Bomb, you feel the same sort of feeling. And the light fur, your furbolg fur, also kind of stands up a bit. And you hear your mother's voice. Do you feel that? You look around. And this section of forest, some of the trees, seem as though they've almost been touched by winter. Strangely. And as you continue to walk, again, most of the forest is in its autumnal state, but here and there, in different regions, other seasons have begun to show. It's not cold, it's not snowing, there's no frost, but these trees almost seem dormant. It's a small section, and within moments you're back into what seems to be a normal, healthy part of the trees, part of the forest. But it was strange. Out of season. You've never seen anything like that before.
Can I sneeze?
Achoo.
Okay.
Gesundheit. Or however a tree would say it.
As I'm walking alongside Kendis, I just look down and I can feel you sense the same thing, even without looking at your cards.
Indeed. Bomb, Timbersmith, it isn't right. There's a sentinel from Jakul who's not like any I ever saw during my time there. And I don't know what to make of the Tiefling girl at all. And they arrive, and then this starts to happen. It can't be a coincidence, but there are so many pieces of a puzzle, and I cannot see the full picture. I can't, whatever the cards are trying to tell me, I can't figure it out.
You think like a jigsaw, we should put the outside pieces in first and connect them and work our way in. We help these two, and hopefully they'll give us the answers we need.
That's not a bad way to look at it, Timbersmith. They could be the key to whatever's happening here, and yes, it would do, if nothing else, to keep them close.
What about your concoctions? Is that affected as well? You can see my fish are splintered and old before their time.
My herbs seem less potent than usual, and now that you mention it, I thought I'd imagined it, but the pages of my books seem more faded somehow, as though everything is losing its essence, being drained out from some invisible gap or hole, or I don't know, but yes, I'd rather hoped that I had imagined it, but seeing your fish and hearing you say it yourself, it would be foolish to ignore this as well.
Let's build the outside pieces, connect them together, and then move in to the heart of things.
The outside pieces. Yes. And Kendis lapses into a deep, thoughtful silence for several minutes.
And Bomb doesn't mind that. He likes the quiet.
And in fact, walking along through this forest was probably the most at peace you've felt for about a week. So, soon enough, you arrive at what is called the trading post. And you see, oh goodness, a decent crowd of people milling about, talking, sharing information. There are different stalls sort of set up, different tables, some of them just with blankets on the ground, sharing their wares. You see a variety of different things. It is the beginning of a new week today. We'll call it a Monday. And usually at the start of the week. This is when the most people are gathered at the trading post. So you do see some familiar faces. You see some of the Bouldersmiths. You see the mother, the matron of the Bouldersmith family, Kralda, there with her 2 sons, the twins, Brock and Dokkum. And in fact, the fountain in the center of this trading post is one of their creations. It's this wonderful, almost twisting image of a bird with its wings outstretched, as if it's trying to fly straight through the center of the canopy towards the sun. And there's this amazing detail within the feathers, and the stone that they chose seems to catch the light and reflect it back outwards, so it sparkles a bit. It's quite pretty. Who else do you see? You also see some of the good songs. You see Knotless and Oscar, but their older brother, Fidel. He's there just playing some music. Some humans, some other halflings, not necessarily part of one of the more established families within Glenfarra, but dancing and singing and clapping their hands joyfully. You see Trizio, 2 people there. Trizio, a tabaxi, and actually 2 tabaxi, Trizio and Zeze. Bom, Kendis, you know them. Trizio and Zeze are both from Ila, however they arrived at different times. Zeze is the primary metalsmith who manages the forge on the outer edge of the forests. And Trizio, also being from Ila, is more of a glassmith. Marlowe, as you walk up, you recognize the work of an Elan glassworker immediately, because you've spent some time sailing and trading some of those wares. So you know that the glasscraft is unique. It's of this beautiful, vibrant blue that can really only be found in the glass that is melted down and produced in Ila. And there are a number of other individuals there as well. You see some tapestries being woven. You see a couple of other wood carvers, although nothing as masterful as the timbersmiths.
I think the whole once we kind of reach the actual town, again, this is an ongoing theme, but Eorad starts to I think under his breath this time, because I think he's starting to catch on that Bomb isn't really a fan of when he just talks to himself. So under his breath, Eorad is okay, I guess we're going into town. I hope everything's gonna be okay. Are they gonna be here? Is it safe to be in town? And he's not really asking anyone. He's not asking the group. He's asking he's asking himself, I guess, and he's trying to
Yeah. Are you staying alert? Are you trying to stay alert?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's even probably as he's walking, he's probably kind of fidgeting with so he has a tuning fork that's dangling from a chain around his neck, and it's kind of fiddling with that in his hand as he's walking through. Yeah, he's probably in his cloak, not with a hood up, but he does have his cloak around his shoulders, and he's just kind of anxiously looking around as they're walking into the town.
So, this is your first time really entering Glenfarra proper. And you can feel the stairs. People out here have never really seen a warforged before, or if they have, definitely not here in Monair.
I think it's hyper aware of that.
Yes, you would be hypersensitive to that because you're already a bit more on edge because you are a runaway. You are a fugitive in many ways. And you know very well, and Kendis, you know this also, of course, once you leave the Athenaeum, or anyone who tries to leave the Athenaeum typically has to do so through subterfuge, through some sort of sometimes aggression. Once you're part of the Athenaeum, they're not likely to let you go. So you're going to be a bit more on edge. However, you'll notice here, there are people from all over Iyastera, from across the 4 different kingdoms. You don't see any other Warforged, no. But no one is really bothering you. You catch attention, absolutely. And the sun is gleaming off of your your forged form. And in fact, the Tabaxi metalsmith, Zizi, you don't necessarily know her name, but she looks and goes, and almost tries to get a closer look, almost without you really realizing, without really noticing. She is a darker furred Tabaxi with some lighter gray, almost helps her melt into the shadows in some ways. But again, no one's really bothering you. No one's confronting you. No one's telling you, you know, who are you? You don't belong here. Everyone has a past. It doesn't matter here. So they're content to wait and see what you do.
Yeah, he just sticks close, like as close as he physically can, to like Kendis and basically the rest of the group, Marlowe, Kendis, and Bomb. It looks very weird because he kind of has like the demeanor of a lost child, but like he's a massive like metallic like guy. Yeah.
Marlowe, you should talk to Krolder. She's the Bouldersmith matron over there with her sons. If you wish for the work, I would be quite confident around her.
Marlowe's already walking in that direction.
Yeah. So
it does take a while to get his words out.
The speed of the trees. God, just like an ant. So you walk up. Oh, go ahead.
Was it Eorad? Do you wish to meet my clients?
I think I'm gonna look around the town instead. Actually, I think Marlowe might actually need some company, and he just kind of like backs away.
Oh my word! Oh my word!
Hedgewitch, what are you up to?
Timbersmith, I have some bits and pieces to buy.
Oh.
I was thinking I could concoct a salve to aid the trees for what little good it might do. But I'm in no rush. I want to see how the Warforged adapts. An interesting one he is.
You think?
Well, you've seen him as much as I have.
He doesn't sleep.
Or eat.
No, that would be inefficient. The things I have to guard, well, they need constant vigilance. And then Kendis sort of trails off and like doesn't really want to think about the Athenaeum for that much longer. Or not on a bright sunny Monday. This is not the time or place for those dark memories.
Not at all. And in fact, as you are scanning the trading post, you do see a couple of people who you think would be able to help you. People that you know pretty well. So the Lazaro family, the large human family known for their cultivation of rare herbs, creating medicines and potions, alchemical types of things. you see Sibyl there, accompanied by Hannah, a Firbolg, another alchemist, not natively from Glenfarra, but one of the many who found themselves there. So you know that Hannah is particularly interested in brewing different types of teas with healing herbs, and she's been trying to apprentice herself to the Lazaro family, who has been very open to this arrangement. So as you're sort of keeping an eye on Eorad and Marlowe, you know where to go for some of those supplies and some of that knowledge. So
I'll go with Kendis as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Poor Bomb. No one wants to help you.
Used to it.
Oh. Your mother goes, well, maybe if you did take a bath. Grumble, grumble. Okay, so Marlowe and Eorad. You approach the Boulder Smiths, these 3 dwarves. So, one, whom Baum pointed out as being Kralda, the matron of the Boulder Smith family. She is dark-haired dwarf, shorter, obviously, average height for a dwarf, we'll say, with some streaks of silver within her mane, which is tied back in sort of a braid, and then her beard, which she actually keeps fairly trimmed, presents a pretty clean appearance. Simple clothes, as most people within Iyastera, Glenfarra have, and how they dress themselves day to day. However, around her waist you see a leather tool belt. So you see some chisels, you see hammer, the typical tools of the trade that you would have when you are crafting things out of the rock itself. Beside her are Brock and Dokkum, the same dark hair as her, but with bright green eyes, whereas Kralda's are more of a brown. They look identical, and they're currently arguing as you walk up about which type of stone they want to use next. No, not that one, Brock says, and they're both comparing these pretty hefty blocks of stone. No, that has too much quartz. You can't do the quartz in that one, not for the sculpture that we're trying to make. You don't know anything, Brock. The quartz will give it the shine. You see the fountain, and they're bickering back and forth, and Kralda is just sitting there. Boys, enough. That one will be fine, Brock. Don't be so picky. You're just like your father. So they're bickering a bit, and then you walk up. Kralda sees you first, not recognizing you, giving both of you a glance over, pausing a bit longer on Eorad, Brock the gym leader. Oh, man. Oh, and they're both with the rock type. No.
I thought that was on purpose.
Pokemon is in my subconscious.
Yeah, must be.
And there's no C in the spelling of this Brock. It's B-R-O-K.
Okay. So it's different.
Totally different. Oh my word. They don't have little stone carving familiars.
Little Geodudes following him.
That would be adorable. Oh man. Anyway, Kralda looks up. And without any of the pleasantries, which you've noticed to be a bit more common, at least from what you've seen with Baum and Kendis. Who are you? Are you here for some stone? Or are you looking for work? Who brought you? Who brought you here? You two are a rare sight.
I'm just following my friend here. Yeah.
The Timbersmith sent us your way.
Bomb! Oh, Timbersmith. Okay, well, if the Timbersmith is vouching for you, well, that explains why you're here. So what do you need? The tree is not to your liking?
Marlowe holds up her hand, which has, like, a little bit of scarring on it from the splinters. You could
Trees
say
are
that.
a finicky sort. You have to worry about, emotions and the temperature and the time of the season. But you see stone, and she slaps the side of this rock slab with a loud thunk. You see stone is steady. It's reliable. You can depend on it. It's unchanging. Stone is whatever you want to make of it. Is that more to your liking?
Is there anything, is there a table in front of them?
There is a table. There's a low table with some carvings, but honestly, it looks like they're preparing to create something a little bit larger with these 2 blocks of stone. There are some other pieces as well.
I imagine as she's talking to them, Marlowe has picked up some things and is turning them in her hand, trying to figure them out.
Okay. So you've picked up one that looks a bit like a horse. It's, we'll say, about the height of your hand. It's a bit larger. This lovely stone-carved horse. Just turning it over in your hand. It's very, very well done, and it's interesting to see how such, people who seem to be a bit more rough around the edges, not unlike Bomb, actually, are able to create such intricate works of art. Have you ever carved stone before?
I don't do much in the way of carving.
Did you want to learn?
Do you make gadgets by chance?
Gadgets? What do you mean gadgets? We make
Tools.
carvings.
Functional things.
Functional things.
Not that these aren't functional. She trails off.
Art has a function. Brock and Dokkum are still arguing. They're not even fully paying attention. Now they're arguing over what they want to carve out of the stone.
I think can Eorad join in this argument?
Absolutely.
I think so. I think Eorad's I think I think yesterday he saw a squirrel, a late night squirrel. He's not sure why it was out. He's not sure why it was running around, but he was very fascinated by it and kind of watched it. So I think he kind of joined the argument, saying I really think we should go for squirrel. They're really beautiful creatures. I think we could go for a squirrel. I don't know much about stone, but I feel like this stone, looking at this stone, I feel like I can see it in the shape of a squirrel.
And they both turn to look at you as soon as you start talking, but when they turn, they only come up to about, just with your height, probably about your hip, your at your elbow,
waist,
we'll say.
yeah.
Yeah, your elbow. And then they look up. A squirrel? They were arguing over whether or not they wanted to make like a bell tower type of figure or a ship.
Yes, a squirrel.
Why a No, we're making a bell tower. We're not making a bell tower. We're making a ship.
Oh, a squirrel. I think a squirrel.
Why
would
would
be a
you
really
want
good
a
idea.
ship out of stone?
That's
And
a
now
good point. Why would you want a ship house?
And you're just goading them on.
A ship house then wouldn't sail. I feel like it'd be kind of a bad omen. I don't know much about ships, but I've been on one and it wasn't made of stone. I just kind of.
And you just continue. You continue on. Marlowe, Kralda is still talking to you. If you're looking for gadgets, I don't know if this is really the right place for you. What kind of gadgets do you mean? The only tools I need are the ones right here. And she just pats her side and takes out a couple of specialized chisels.
Do you, by chance, work with crystals?
We do find bits of crystal, bits of
and as she
quartz
asks
and
that,
whatnot,
he's
and
kind
stone.
of Marlowe's kind of like tracing around the like little gem embedded into her cauldron?
You see, crystals are a sensitive medium to work with. You strike them just the wrong way and they'll completely shatter. However, if you start to learn how to feel it, the vibrations within the stone itself, you could make something good with crystal.
Could you teach me that, then?
I think I could. I'd like to start you with stone first. Just to make sure you have the technique right. Are you trying to convince her?
Yeah.
See, crystals are complicated. Crystals are... think of them as the trees of the world of stone. You have to be a bit more sensitive with the crystals. She's not really one for words.
Stone. Marlowe's just, like, lost in
The trees of the stone world.
She's, like, not listening to anything else. She's
No.
just standing there like trees of stone. And she kind of, like, taps Eorad, and she's like, hey. Does this turn of phrase make sense to you? Say it again. And
Crystals are like the
back.
trees of the stone world.
Does that make sense to you?
No.
No, what? Never mind. Never mind. You could tell she was trying to be a little bit more profound there. Here. And she takes a chunk of this sort of darker veined stone and just puts it right in front of you. Here. Let's see what you make of this. She hands you a chisel.
I want to take out my own Tinkerer's tools and try to work it with those.
Oh!
Would any of what I have work?
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
I think stonesmith's tools are like an actual equipment you can have. Because I know woodcarver's tools are. So I wouldn't be surprised
But
if
mine are just
stonesmiths.
Tinkerer's tools.
Yeah.
Yours are specific for like artificing, like mechanical stuff.
Fine movements.
But
Yeah, like
Marlowe
lockpicks and
is
screws and stuff
pretty
like that.
resourceful.
You
So
are
I'm
pretty
wondering if she
resourceful.
could-
Do you want to roll a retroactive, we'll say... You've traveled a lot.
Mhm.
We're gonna do this. So this is a little bit of a dungeon world sort of thing, where, in a way that's more flexible than D&D 5th edition, if you think something makes sense for you to have, and you can argue it, and you can loop it into your story, could make it happen. So, tell me why Marlowe would have picked up a chisel, or a couple of chisels, for something appropriate for stoneworking.
I imagine.
Let's spin a
on
story
one of
about it.
the many ships she's traveled on.
Mm-hmm.
One of them surely would have dealt in trade, and there
Certainly.
would have been guild artisans upon the ship,
Mm-hmm.
and she's one to strike up conversation pretty easily.
That's true. That is
so she
true.
would have gotten talking, interested, curious, ever curious, always wanting to know
Mm-hmm.
more about how to go about doing and making things on her own.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it does make sense. You would have come across all sorts of trade. And as someone who wants to learn everything that they possibly can, I'll allow it. Let's say you have two basic types of chisels. Not quite as finely crafted as the Bouldersmith's tools, but you've got a couple. And in fact, Kralda has a surprised and almost impressed look on her face when you pull out your own kit and say, I'll use my own, thank you. So, let's do this. What do you want to do with this chunk of stone? It's slightly bigger than your fist.
Okay. Well, I imagine I overheard Eorad chiming in with the brothers, so I would like to attempt to carve the workings of a squirrel.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a crafting check.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. This is the first of one of your unique to your character skill
That's
checks.
a 16.
16. Did you add your proficiency to it?
I did not.
Add your +2. Brings it up to 18. That's pretty good. So even though you are not very familiar with carving stone itself, you learned a little bit here and there from speaking to other traders on your times on the seas. You pick things up. You do. You are intelligent. You pick things up pretty quickly. So while you weren't able to really get a lot of the detail in, you are, over the course of probably a few hours if you want to sit here, because stone does take some time to work, maybe a couple of hours, you are able to create something very recognizable as a squirrel.
And I hold it up, pretty pleased with it, and I turn and I hand it to Eorad, and I'm like,
Yeah. And
Oh, that's a pretty good squirrel. It looks kind of like the squirrel I saw last night, and kind of like that's pretty. And see, a squirrel. It looks good. And it kind of he turns to the brothers. We could just make a bigger version of this.
Roll a persuasion check. Do it.
Okay.
I told you it would look good.
12.
12?
Yeah.
They look at it. Maybe we'll put a squirrel on the ship and they just get right back into it again. But
no, but why would a squirrel be on a ship?
Kralda is impressed. She sat with you this entire time. And during this bomb and Kendis, you will have been working with some others. Eorad, you're kind of watching Marlowe, but also kind of talking to the brothers. And they're, at this point, by the time that Marlowe is done with that squirrel, they're including you a bit more in this. And you're actually in this pretty extensive debate now. They've decided on a bell tower.
I think Eorad's
with a squirrel climbing up the side of it.
Yeah.
So Kralda looks at you, Marlowe. Impressive. Okay. Well, why don't you come over to our workshop tomorrow and we'll see what else you can do.
I look forward to working with you.
Excellent. She offers up a pretty beefy hand.
Marlowe takes it.
Strong handshake. And shakes the hand and goes, all right. I'll have to thank the timbersmith for sending you our way. This evening is still on, right? You know, the thing for the timbersmith? We'll be there.
Yes.
She turns away. All right, Baum and Kendis. You're meeting with, it seems like, Hannah and Sybil. They know you and greet you warmly, Kendis. Sybil first. Brackenhill! Hedge Witch Brackenhill, what can we do for you today?
Hello, my dears. I don't suppose you have... And then Candice kind of pulls out a list, a little
shopping list
of ingredients. Yeah.
It seems short at first, and then it just goes...
Just goes on and on.
Yeah, just rolls to the ground.
Well, some of the usual. Sage. What else have we got on here? I want to have some of this and some dried, some of that, and some of. Oh, just take the list. Give me whatever you've got. I've got the quantities listed there as well.
Okay, well let's see what we can do. Sybil takes it, holds it up for Hannah to look at as well. Hannah goes, well, on a normal day, I'd say we'd have quite a bit of this, but some of these things, the harvest hasn't been good. We've been having a little bit of trouble getting our usual supply, even enough just to make our own potions and tinctures and things. But we'll see what we can get. And Hannah goes kind of behind the table. So on their table, they have a whole selection of baskets with dried herbs and spices and plants and things, and there are some in small pots that are still growing the live plants as well that they're trying to cultivate. And as she's looking, Sybil turns back to you, both of you, with both of you standing there. We've been trying to keep as many of these herbs healthy as possible. I'm sure you've noticed it as well. Some of the plants here, the harvest isn't as good. They seem weaker. It's almost as if the frost has already touched them, but winter is not here yet. We're doing our best. We're trying to put them in fresh soil, and she gestures to the pots and things that they've brought with them. But nothing seems to really be working.
Are the deciduous still deciduous?
They seem okay for now.
For now being the key term. Worrying indeed. Without ingredients, this is
we may have to get
spells.
more from the outer kingdoms, the outer towns, if we want to continue with our trade. Normally we can source everything from here, but...
And that could take some time, more expensive, overall much more inconvenient.
I'm concerned.
Well, indeed. Well, Timbersmith, it appears the puzzle has yet another piece.
And we've been trying to get some more water from the spring as well, but the Vervains have stopped anyone from going near the spring, too.
Really?
We can't use...
And their reason?
They say until we figure out what's going on within the forest, they want to keep the spring secure. They're not letting people in.
They have knowledge of the stuff then as well.
Well, with Lady Vervain being the guardian, I'm sure. That family's been tied to the spring as long as you or I have been here longer, Timbersmith.
Of course, I know her well. I've done much work for their building.
Maybe you should talk to them.
Indeed. Seems like the right course of action.
Surprised they didn't think to consult me sooner. Kendis just bristles their feathers a little indignantly. But,
well, if it means anything, they didn't really tell us much either. We try to go collect waters from the spring once a week. We would have gone yesterday. We tried to go yesterday, but we were turned away.
It seems to have all happened slowly and yet all at once.
Change. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to see change while it's happening.
Absolutely.
What of the dryads? What of the tree folk? Are they restless? Are they in trouble?
And Sybil thinks. We haven't seen too much of them lately. The good songs may know more there. At this point, Hannah comes back with most of what's on your list, with a few key exceptions. We couldn't resupply the rosemary or the sage, the peppermint either. We have plenty of nettles.
Do nettles still sting? Or have they lost that as well?
Oh no, she holds up her hands, which look a little... They're bandaged as well. No, nettles are still stinging. And you hear kind of a cackle in your ear.
Bomb like managed a like slight curl of the lip at the side. Most he ever smiles, and he's like, That is reassuring.
Kendis kind of clucks and goes, no peppermint. Well, I can do without. My morning tea won't taste as nice. The rest of it, thank you, Hannah. I appreciate it very much. Here, have a little extra for your trouble, and like hands over a bag of coins, which is a little heavier than it normally is during these exchanges. And my kindest regards, and should you hear anything else, do keep me in the loop. You know where to find me. In the meantime, I will look into this further and, well, do what I can.
Of course. Thank you. And thank you. We'll let you know if we need to get a shipment from outside. Once the traders come to the crossroads again. So at this point, you will have spent most of the day there, taking in the sights, going around after your various excursions. Bomb, you had some fish to sell?
Yeah, I go up to my client who's a just a procurer of the fine arts, basically, and quite discerning of taste. And I'm quite worried, actually. I don't often get worried in my own sort of ability as a craftsman, but right now I'm very, very concerned. And I've even gone to the point where I've kind of tried to like seal the kind of splinters with some sap.
Yeah.
So I've tried to cover it over like a proper shark. And
yeah.
And so I go up to them, and I have your trout finished.
So this is a human named Soren. Definitely drawn here, not so much because he has a craft of his own, but more an appreciation for the crafts within the range of skills within Glenfarra, and is one of the primary traders who will actually leave the forest to bring some of the goods from Glenfarra out for trade or to help sell with some of the other craftsmen. So he takes a look. Yeah, there were some sailors out in Felbray who are interested in things such as this. Let me see. Pulls some spectacles out, takes a closer look. Glasses on. Well, definitely detailed. Now what actually, you know what? What happened here? Let me see how well he actually notices things. It's like a 14. He's looking, seeing some irregularities here. What's going on with these gills? He can't quite tell that you've been able to smooth it out a bit right now because the fix is still pretty fresh.
It's more impressionistic. They're in mid-breath under the water.
Roll a persuasion check for me. Or deception, actually. This might be more deception.
Wow, I don't think Bum would try to lie.
Bum is so sly.
Bum, what? Sneaky.
Amazing.
He's very protective of his craft. 13.
13? Mid-breath.
Maximum
For
realism.
fish. I don't know. It's not quite your usual work. I'll be honest.
I thought about branching out a little bit more abstract.
Well,
Craftsmen have to change up sometimes. Adapt.
all right. All right. We'll see what they take for him.
Telling them about the adaptation.
The adaptation. I don't know if I can fully give you the agreed upon price, though. This isn't quite what they had asked for. Unless you want to come with us and explain it to them yourself.
No. I'll take the cut.
So it's just a few gold, few silver off the top there. But still hands you a decent, because a timbersmith piece of art is still a timbersmith piece. So you still have a pretty hefty pouch there. And we need to determine what your rates would typically be
Yeah.
as a creator for these sculptures.
He gets paid in exposure.
No. I was waiting for someone to make that joke. I didn't want to do it. Oh no. Wah, wah. Nope, no paying in exposure. Not here. Not IRL or in the fantasy world of Iyastera. You hear that, folks? Okay.
Don't accept.
Mm-mm.
You back next month.
Yeah.
For the turtles.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget the seagulls too. So folks down south, Port Forage wanted some seagulls.
They'll be mid-flight.
Okay. The same sort of branching out as these ones?
Yeah.
Holds up the fish. And some of
Indeed.
the wood glue is actually starting to come apart a little bit.
Oh no. Oh.
It's still a beautifully
Um.
carved pair of fish. They're like these elegant koi types of fish. They're beautiful, and you've even been able to choose different grains and patterns within the wood to reflect. It's a bit of an optical illusion to reflect the way the water would be moving across the scales. You'd think that this matter of carving would be a magic all on its own, and in many ways it is. So it's still beautiful, just something about those gills.
But normally with the wood, I produce something that people would be able to feel the water almost, like even feel like what it's like to be a fish. So I've lost all that. I feel like I've lost all that recently.
Yeah. And hearing more.
He's actually quite upset. Bom's quite upset actually, having to lie about to keep his business going is excruciating for him.
Yeah.
He's actually quite an upfront person.
Your mother tries to comfort you a little bit, not so much in words, but more. You feel it. You feel more of that. Okay. So at this point, it's getting closer to the end of the day, and you're making your way back to the Knotless Cabin. And as you walk up, as you return home, some of you feeling rather victorious. Marlowe, you are going to be learning a new craft with some of these acquired tools and bits of knowledge. You're pretty proud of yourself that you've been able to impress Kralda, Eorad. You seem to have made some friends amongst the Bouldersmith twins. You got yourself a squirrel. Kendis, you've been able to acquire some of your herbs and ingredients. Not everything you needed. Your tea will be a little bit different. Bomb, you were able to sell the fish. However, for both of you, Bomb and Kendis, things seem uneasy. They seem uncertain. But as you return to the wood, a campfire, surprisingly, is already crackling away merrily outside the Knotless Cabin, with a number of familiar faces there. You see some good songs. You see, actually, Lord Vervain and presence as well, with their son, Enda. You see some Lazarus. You see a number of other people. Laszlo, Trezio is there. All of them seeming to be waiting for you, Timbersmith. As soon as you arrive, warm blankets and steaming mugs of cider are all passed around, smiling faces glowing even brighter from the reflection of the flames. And one of them, Laszlo, this tall Goliath, covered in tattoos, a fire dancer from Tashkil who ended up staying after the last All-Crown Fair, calls out, "Ah, it's about time, Timbersmith. We thought you'd be late for your own party."
Party? What do you mean?
You hear your mother's voice. "Oh, dear. Did you forget it's your birthday? You silly child." Sit down. Sit down.
If I just
So-
imagine, like, in Return of the Jedi, like, my spirit's my family in the doorway, like the Jedi.
Oh, that's so cute.
All around you, you have those mugs of warm cider, the blankets, and people are beginning to play music and celebrate one by one. They're coming up to you in true Glenfarron fashion and offering you gifts, presents. You have songs, you have poems, and surprisingly enough, the 3 people that you spent the day with have some things for you as well, all keeping it expertly secretive. Who would like to go first and present the birthday gift to the Timbersmith here?
Timbersmith.
Is going on.
Mm-hmm. Surprise!
Kendis waits for Bomb to be seated and kind of stands up and ruffles her feathers and clears her throat. From one Glenfarron to another, in our land's tradition, I would like to present this short piece. Across the forest floor he treads, clothes of green and skin of red, with many thoughts but little said. 'Tis the timbersmith named Bomb. Skilled of hand, he carves his wood, his craft refined and understood, doing as his mother would, the timbersmith named Bomb. Upon this day that was his birth, a year once more upon this earth, we wish him merriment and mirth, our timbersmith named Bomb. Happy birthday, my friend. And then sits back down.
Yay!
Oh, wow.
There's applause.
He takes his cup of sap and he just like
You big ol' sap. True Glenfarron fashion, where for each year, let me actually pull up the description here. We're exploring some of the lore, folks.
Thank you, Hedge.
For each birthday,
No problem.
Glenfarrons like to tell a story, share a song, a poem, anything to often weave a humorous narrative around the person who is celebrating their birthday that year. Could be true, could be fiction, doesn't matter. But within Glenfarra, all that matters is that you are writing your own story and you are writing it with the people around you. Who's next?
I can go.
Eorad. Yes.
Eorad kind of like claps after Candice's little like, poem, and it sounds like 2 frying pans getting slammed together. Now that I think about it, that's probably awful. Now that I think about it, that's an awful sound. But yeah, when that's over, he kind of walks on over, like kind of thuds on over. Again, like his footsteps are kind of heavy, and he just turns. He looks to Bomb. So, you know how I've been talking throughout the night? I've been trying to converse. You see, in Jokul, we don't give physical presents. And he like gestures to the like physical gifts that people might have given him. We gift stars, and well, I wanted to ask the star for permission first, so I've been spending the past few days trying to persuade it, I suppose, with the help of my friend. And when he says my friend, like he kind of, I don't know, I think Marley's probably seen him like actually do this more than anyone else. I think she's probably seen him do it on the ship, but whenever he's like summons his astral, the astral being, the Wanderer, but the way he does it is that he sways slightly, and when he sways, the tuning fork on his hanging from the chain kind of like sways with it and then clangs against his chest and then reverberates, and behind him it kind of starts with like miasma, like kind of like a weird mist, and it kind of looks like if you like stare into the mist, you kind of can see like points of light that kind of look like stars, and then it becomes a bit more not solid but shaped, and it kind of looks like even larger than Eorad, a larger warforged, and it kind of like points up at the sky at a specific star, and like almost like in response, that specific star twinkles, and Eorad just says, "So I wanted to give you this star, the Peacemaker. My friend." And he points at his spectral being, the one behind him. They've been talking to it on my behalf, which is in the process on your behalf, I suppose. But the story behind the Peacemaker is that it, well, brings peace, and wherever you sow, you reap. It brought peace, so it got to reap peace. And me gifting this to you is me hoping that you will also be able to have peace of your own. Because I know that you're trying to bring peace to your family. You're sowing that peace. You'll be able to have some for your own.
Thank you, my friend. That's a very deep gesture. I don't know what to say. I'm not often speechless. I speak slowly, but I always have something to say. It's my pleasure. I've been living in your place for a week, and I don't know if you noticed, but I don't particularly want a job. So I think of this as my payment. Thank you, and I hope you have a happy birthday. Thank you so much. I'm used to the ground, not the sky, but I wish to explore that place more. It's a great gesture.
And he just goes over and sits down, and his like astral self kind of like floats, like still lingers over his shoulder, and Eorad just kind of just talks like he's like the Wanderer's an old friend as he's drinking. He doesn't need to. He looks very awkward drinking the tea, but he's doing it just to guess he fit in with everyone else.
None of you know where it's going.
Yeah. Not even
just sort of.
He's like, I mean, I'm not. It doesn't hurt, so I guess I'm doing okay.
Sometimes some questions don't need to be answered.
I can't take another sip of sap.
I imagine Eorad's just looking around like, am I doing this right?
Am I doing this right? It's like
how to I can't say human because we have all different races, but how to people.
How to flashbag.
How to flashbag.
Fleshies. Very good. Very good. Some of the other people there were very impressed with the gifting of a star, and they look eagerly at the next person. Marlowe.
Marlowe sort of like shifts, and she kind of like is just like, she tries to say his name in his native tongue, and like she thinks she does a good job of it. She clearly does it, but she thinks she does a great job of it. And
you say Craig to it.
So she goes, Timbersmith, I know you're not too keen on my tinkering, but I hope you'll be keen on this. And she pulls out a leather bracer, which she has put together from like leftover materials that she's had. It's like a leather wrist bracer, and it's not super intricately embroidered, but it does have some embroidery on it. She attempted. It's got like vining and like ivy looking embroidery on it, and she shows you it's rigged so that you could store seeds in it. And Bomb probably won't know this, but the rest of the party will. It sets off a sort of like fragrance. She's embedded pine needles and lavender into it. But she goes, it's functional. I'm about function and not form. It works, and she shows you how to work the rig. You can store your seeds in here to plant trees wherever we go, if you so please.
He sort of stands up and he sort of wobbles because he's had too much sap. So he kind of wobbles into
It's
the
heady
woods a
stuff.
little bit. And well, very much so, yeah.
That maple.
And and he starts almost like shooting the seeds into little holes he makes, and it saves him a lot of time. It's almost like a complete free flowing motion. And every time he plants a seed, it kind of sets this odor off and the scent. It kind of makes him smell better. And he kind of likes it actually. He kind of gets a little bit
tea.
Yeah, he really appreciates it, and he comes back and he stumbles back to the fireplace, and he's like, just as bright as a star, I feel, as a gift. Just as bright as words that touch my heart. You've done me a great service. I don't deserve this just for taking you in for a week and asking you to get jobs and go to bed at night. But for some reason, I must have had some impact on you. And I appreciate it greatly. I don't have any friends apart from the hedge witch, even though I think she just tolerates me. And
oh, little hearts.
This is a moment I never expected. I didn't even know it was my birthday. And I feel I can learn a lot from this. I feel like your gifts represent some change in me, and I will have to change if I am to tackle what is affecting my home and my livelihood. I thank you greatly, all three of you. And now I need to go to bed. I have a headache.
Too much sap.
Too much sap.
Excellent. And with that, the music and the dancing continues well into the night. And Bomb, as you sleep off your sap headache, you feel as though, at least for now, you're calm. And as you hear the voices and the words of congratulations and well wishes from the family around you, one of the gifts of the Timbersmiths is to help bring more of that life back into the very cabin itself, from the trees and from the forest. So as you go into your room, this place of refuge and comfort, you see fresh sprouting vines and green leaves, and even some of the flowers from these trees beginning to bloom and sprout around you, very much filling the air itself with this life, with this hope. And you feel as though things have been hard. They've been different. You feel something stirring within the forest that no one wants to see happening. But at least for now, you feel like you're on the right track.
Last piece on the outside.
Mm-hmm. And with that, we are going to end our first session of Heroes of Iyastera. Well done, everyone. Consider that a nice little prologue.
That was super fun. I loved it.
Yay!
And
Well
guys.
done. Well done, everyone. And happy birthday, Bomb.
Happy Bomb.
Happy
Andrew.
birthday.
Thank you for my gifts. That was amazing. I try not to cry in real life.
We've been keeping that one a
Very
secret from you.
emotional.
I've been
It's very
trying
fun.
not to do
Good
any
plan.
lore drops about birthdays either.
It was genius. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's really touched me.
Well done. I loved each of your gifts. Oh my god.
They're
That
amazing.
was wonderful.
It was fun to see the other two as well because we hadn't talked about it. So I was like, oh, I wonder what they're going to get him. And I was like,
I'll be very
Your
honest.
poem was so good.
Oh, your poem was so good.
Incredible.
thank you.
I'll be honest, the name, I knew I was going to give you a star. Like, that was Scriv told me that giving a star was like the kind of tradition for Joe Cool. I
Oh,
was
nice.
like, oh no, but why? What is going to be like the message of the star? What's going to be the name? And like, I thought about that on the spot. And then when I remember how he
Oh, that's
mentioned how
brilliant.
I've been talking at night for ages. I was like, oh, okay, maybe there's a reason why he's been talking at night. Maybe he's been like
Yes.
he's been talking to the Wanderer, and the Wanderer's been talking to the star he was hoping to
Yes.
give to
Perfect.
Bomb.
Yeah. That was really
Perfect.
nice.
Perfect.
Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Oh. Very, very well done. All right. Well, it's getting a bit late here. Oh my goodness, someone did a Marlowe doodle.
That's amazing.
what?
Drop it in the oh wait.
Come on.
Do we need to look at it?
No
Let's look at it.
way! Whoa!
so
Is
good.
this
It's
is
so
this
good.
our first fan art?
Whoa!
What?
Amazing.
What? Okay.
That's so
Can I share
good.
this? Can I share
This
this?
isn't a doodle.
on-
This
on
is a
the
straight up
stream, Sam?
masterpiece. Wait,
You can wait.
hold
you
on.
can wait.
Wait, they call this a doodle. This isn't a doodle.
That's not a
doodle's like a stick
doodle.
man. This isn't.
That's not a doodle. Okay.
Thank you,
The
That is
first
absolutely
official
incredible.
fan art. We're gonna show this.
I
real
love you
quick.
much.
Oh my
Peach
goodness.
poached
Oh
egg.
my goodness. Poached
That-
egg.
Yes, that's Sam, the loveliest poached egg.
Oh my god, I love.
That is gorgeous. All right. So for those of you who have not seen that or have not been able to open
Wow.
up the link yet, I'm
Wow.
about to pull this ridiculousness up here. Oh my word!
That is amazing.
Look at this. Look
Quite
at this.
speechless about that, really.
Look
Whoa.
at that! It's beautiful. Wow!
Madness.
Wow!
Wow.
That's not a doodle. I'm sorry.
That's not a doodle. I
That's
wish
a
I could
straight up
doodle like that.
masterpiece.
I already feel weird enough. My doodles end up being like wonky as heck stick figures. I am not a visual artist. My art is in words.
So cool. So cool.
Words are my visual art. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you, people in the chat and the lurkers and all of you for joining us for this, our debut of the Heroes of Iyastera. Thank you, Marlowe and Bomb and Eorad and Kendis. We are going to be streaming every other Thursday, so catch us again in a couple of weeks. However, next week, keep an eye out on the Twitter, on the Instagram, the Discord, all these different places. And let me go ahead and put that command in the chat again, so I know it's already on the overlay. But once again, there are some names and the characters and the tags. Keep an eye out because we're gonna have a YouTube channel. We have a Heroes of Iyastera YouTube channel in the works. So the weeks where we are not live streaming the campaign sessions, you will be able to see the week prior the video recording. So with that, I think that's it. Yeah. Any last minute announcements? Any parting shots from the party, from our heroes?
Yes.
Nothing from me.
Just brilliant fun. It's absolutely
I'm
brilliant.
allowed to plug stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
So
I have
at
a
the
very
end of
long
each
list.
stream, go ahead if you want to. Let's have your sign-offs. We'll formalize this as we go along. Let's go ahead and have your sign-offs as well as anything cool that you're working on that you want people to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, I'm a TTRPG addict.
No.
So for one, you can follow me on Twitter at Draconics. That's DRAKONIQUES.
Oh, thank goodness I spelled it right with the overlay.
I would like to spell it out loud just in case, because I know I sometimes lurk without actually looking at streams, just in case anyone's not actually watching it but listening in the background. You can find me here every other Thursday at 11 p.m. BST, playing Eorad, the Warforged monk. The astral, I don't know if you noticed it, but he's an way of the astral self monk. You can also find me every month on the first Friday, I think, every month, of an actual play podcast called Super Idols RPG, where I play a magical idol boy. It's a lot of fun. It's basically like Sailor Moon plus any pop like idol anime mushed together. It's great.
That sounds awesome.
I'm a co-founder and the event organizer of Friends Who Roll Dice, which is a TTRPG Twitch channel, and we are currently doing a month-long charity event where we're raising money for the Rain Network and the Earth Day Network. Every Friday from 4 to 7 p.m. PST. Sorry, I'm using a lot of time zones. 4 to 7 PST. We will have some kind of one shot in October where we'll be raising money. We're playing an indie TTRPG. On every Tuesday of the month, we'll be playing a session of Arium, which is a recently kickstarted TTRPG. And every Monday we have a D&D campaign called The Mind and the Martyr, where they have a ton of fun on it. I'm very busy, so I can't play that game. I'm also in a Burnbright campaign. It's going to start next week on Saturdays, where I play a bunch of telepathic bugs. It's very fun. A bunch of telepathic alien bugs. It's a lot of fun. It's like I'm basically a swarm. I'm a living swarm. That's basically one consciousness.
That's awesome.
And it's going to be a ton of fun. That time hasn't been decided exactly, even though there's only a week left. The organizing has been very all over the place. I'm also going to be in an iHunt campaign every Tuesday from... I told you, I've been a lot.
Much like his Warforged PC, Drac does not sleep.
Yes. I'm going to be in an iHunt campaign called Hustle and Claw, where I'm playing a passive-aggressive giant is what my high concept is, what the short description of my character is, which is going to be a lot of fun. I'm also going to be in a Swordsford campaign, a Swordsford mini-series called... I don't think we have a name for it yet. I think it's called the Elite Jailens. It's going to be the name of it, but I'm not entirely sure. That's going to be every Thursday from 8 p.m. EDT, I think. Most of these, so many time zones. The times are probably wrong. The days are right. So just follow me on Twitter, and I'll probably tweet about it or retweet the tweet.
You're doing your best.
And that's everything I'm doing right now at the moment.
So I put this in the chat, but I'm pretty sure you listed more RPGs than there are days in the week.
No, definitely.
Did I?
Not that I'm keeping count. I'm not. I'm just giving you a hard time, giving you crap. We love you, Drac. If only we all had that youthful energy.
I have the useful lack of self-control. I think that's pretty much it.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh, I have that.
Excellent. Well done. Yeah, be sure to follow Drac on the tweeters. Who's next? Kendis!
Oh, that's me. Hey, so yeah, I'm usually like, I don't know, doodling something or writing something or just chatting away on Twitter. So follow me over there at Spirit Jam, SP1 RATJAM. I'm also sharing photos of my current travels in Canada over on Instagram under the same name. If you have writing, flash fiction, poetry, etc., feel free to submit to Tea Light Press, which is the online lit mag that I co-edit with one of my good friends, IRL. yeah, that's it at the minute. I'm sure there'll be other stuff for me in the future, but that's what's going on right now. So follow me on Twitter.
Yes.
Nice.
I just want to clap for everyone. Hatchling.
Yep, Rich HatchlingDM on Twitter. I've basically kickstarted a role-playing game a couple of months ago, and it was quite successful.
Very successful.
Currently developing
Wildly.
that. I think it's the first one to teach sign language, British Sign Language and American Sign Language as you play. It's called Inspirals, and we've had a few streams with Scriv up to this point as well now, and in the future from mid to late November we'll start a regular gig on here, and we might even have some guests on to talk about game design and all sorts of things like that. So that'll be out between January and March next year, and I'm looking forward to publishing it and getting it out to around the world, because we're trying to localize in different countries as well. Everyone has their own sign language. So we're trying to localize it in different countries, which will obviously be amazing. And the art's coming in all the time. It's brilliant, it's really good fun. And even Sash is working on the world map, and some of the maps.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Yes.
So look for that next year. And in the meantime, I'm just going to be appearing on things and sending some test packs out towards the end of November to streamers and reviewers. So that's where I'm at.
I see a fire goat shout out in there. All right.
Fire goat has arrived.
Fire goat is pleased. Jenn, you're up.
I am Jennifer, at Jenn Peig on socials, on Twitter mostly. Right now, I am part of a Kickstarter project that I think has about a week left. I can pop that in the chat.
Yes.
I think it's halfway to goal.
Ooh.
And I'm on some projects that I can't talk about, but Sina Una just got finished up, I think.
I can't wait. I want it with my soul.
So cool, because like some of my friends are playing Sina Una. It's just like the fact that you guys worked on Paladin is one of my friends who actually worked on it as well.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Tell us why Sina Una is so cool. For those of you who may not have heard about it yet.
Sina Una is a tabletop roleplay game, I think supplement. It's an own voices, so it's Filipino mythologies by Filipinos. So a whole team of Filipinos. It's very exciting.
I love it. I love it. I'm so happy.
So cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. I'm Scriv the Bard. If you are here, hopefully that means that you've seen the channel before, or you've seen some of our stuff, some of our promo stuff going out on Twitter. I am a writer of fiction and games. Got my start with D&D, however, am branching out. I also do part-time streaming. In terms of other projects that I've got going on, well, this is a big one. The debut of this, but I do have some other things in the wings. But if you enjoy this kind of content, come back every other Thursday. On the weeks where we don't have this, I am still doing the Tuesday chill creation streams. Like Rich mentioned, we're going to start doing a Hatchling and Scribbler fusion kind of stream, which will be fun. I also do a little bit of gaming now and then. However, with us getting more and more into this kind of field, I think the gaming is going to be a little bit less. We might start to pair that up a little bit more with the chill creation streams. Do a little bit of writing, do a little bit of gaming, that sort of thing. If you enjoy this kind of content, please follow any one of us on Twitter. We've got the Instagram, we've got the Discord. All the links are below this channel. If you'd like to support, hit subscribble. There's a Patreon, and I put out some cool stuff every month. I did put out some teasers about this prior to us going live this evening, And hopefully you patrons out there enjoyed that. But I don't know what else to say. I kind of don't want to spoil the surprise for some of the other things. Yeah, that's all I've got. But once again, thank you. And I'm going to go ahead and close us out with that video again, with that beautiful music. And we will say good evening. So, as always, thank you for spending some of your time here with us this evening. Keep adventuring and keep scribbling. Let's see if I can time this right. And have a wonderful day. Cheers, everyone.